Logan, please.
All right. Well, hi everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to come and talk today. My name's Logan Cane. Today I'm just going to talk mostly informally. You'll see if you've got my submission, I've talked about the specific points, but I just want to give some context as a resident of Christchurch actually, and take the opportunity to tell my story a little bit. So a few years ago I was at university, and even then the cost of living was starting to bite down a little bit, and I felt like I needed an alternative form of transport. The car was getting a bit expensive to run with petrol and the warrant of fitness and insurance and everything else, so I decided to buy a bicycle and commute to university that way. And then fast forward a couple of years later, I finished university and had a kid, and then had another kid, and I didn't really want to give up the bike actually, because there were so many fantastic side effects to biking around the city instead of just driving everywhere. So I got a bike seat I should say, for my first kid, and I commuted around the place for about a year until the second one was old enough, and then just recently I got a cargo bike so I can take both of them around. And it's been really amazing, like seeing them really enjoy being outside, enjoying the fresh air. And it's been really kind to our wallet as well, not having to pay for petrol and everything else. But what I want to take the opportunity to say is the reason why we were able to do that is because of the willingness of the Christchurch City Council, and of course the funding that came from the central government as well. We found that it was one of the most powerful ways to combat the cost of living for us, and opened up a lot of other opportunities that are sometimes intangible too, hard to measure. Just getting fresh air and feeling good is something that's hard to measure, but it's a real effect. So one of the main points I guess I want to request today is that I want to see this council, despite the directive from the central government to continue and forge ahead with all of the cycleway projects that are currently being planned. I heard that we, as in you guys, over the last 10 years have spent about $200 million on the cycleways, but $2 billion on roads. And I think that's a crazy difference as it is, 10 times as much on roads, though albeit there's definitely 10 times more drivers than there are cyclists. But let's remember that included the actual construction of the cycleways as well, whereas that $2 billion was just costs associated with maintaining the infrastructure. And if we move away from the intangibles a little bit and we think more about like managing costs as a council, cycleways can be a really powerful way of doing that, because they just have much lower maintenance costs than cars. And the actual separated cycleways are a really good idea, because they actually empower people to go out and cycle. They feel safer, and it's the reason why people like me and so many others that I know actually take the opportunity to go out and get on the bike and get active. But with that said, though, what would be great, just as an idea from me, who's a regular user of these cycleways, is I love how they've been built on the side roads and not on the main streets, but it means that they're not particularly visible, and actually a lot of people don't even know that they exist. I live out in Sockburn ways, and even other cyclists, I'm pretty sure, don't actually know that a lot of the separated cycleways exist. I turn off across the road outside of Riccarton Road to take the Southern Expressway that kind of goes one road over, and I see more cyclists than not carrying on and deciding to chance it with the Sockburn roundabout. And I sometimes wonder if they even know that they don't actually have to do that. They just go one road over, and then they can circumvent that roundabout altogether. So yeah, that's the main thing I wanted to talk about. It's a pretty tight timeline today, so yeah, I'll just stick to cycleways. Yeah.
Fine.
Cheers.
Any questions, please? Celeste.
Thank you. That's great submission and helpful feedback. Are you suggesting that we invest in a bit better signage, so wayfinding, so people can sort of see where they are? Because I know we have some maps online, but do you think what would be helpful for you?
I think the signage is actually fairly good as it is. It's definitely helped me on a couple of occasions when discovering new cycle routes. I actually think that something more akin to a media campaign might be better, or maybe if we are talking signage, maybe something big and visible enough for other people to use. Yeah, but I think it's like maybe a targeted social media campaign. Of course, with Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all the rest of them, you can be very specific with your campaigns, targeting campaigns, and so you can work out what demographics are most likely to use the cycleways and target accordingly. Same with YouTube, but yeah, really getting the message out, because it would be a huge waste to build all this infrastructure out, but then not have people use it properly. And that contributes to some of the negative feelings that I think people have towards cycleways. They think, $200 million, and what did we get? Just a little cycleway outside of Hagley Park. What a waste of money. But they don't even realise that there's 70 kilometres of separated cycleway routes, not to mention all of the painted ones as well. Yeah. So
Thank you, Logan.
super important.
You sort of hit the nail on the head with satellites. We had someone in the other day asking about putting cycle lane or whatever down Ferry Road, which is bloody awful, I must say. But one street over, or 1.5 streets over, there's Heathcote Charles Street, is it? And
Sarah's baby.
But that's maybe people don't know that if they just move one street across, and it's a lot better. So I understand exactly what you're saying.
I don't think so. Like the Sockburn one, for example, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know, because it crosses the road at Riccarton and then it looks like it goes off in a completely opposite direction. And you think, if you're going to Hornby, you think, well, that's not where I want to go. I want to go that way, not that way. But it actually only goes that way for one block so that it can go that way the next street over. So, yeah,
we've got a bit of time, Kelly.
In some of these marathons around the world, they have like a blue line so that everybody knows where to go. Do you think something like that would be kind of useful? Something a bit distinctive. Do you get what I mean, Logan? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you could just follow the thin blue line. It might be this wide.
Yeah.
It'll go through the cycleway, or maybe where the cycleway obviously ends, and then the blue line starts up and goes to the next thing. It's probably better than looking for signs. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, but I would argue that we've already done that almost with the green, because all the cycleways are painted green. I think the bigger issue is more that people don't necessarily know how connecting these cycleways actually are, that they don't trust to follow the green path essentially, and that they'll eventually get to where they are.
But the green light stops at intersections though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you can usually pick up where it picks up again. I don't think following the cycleways is the issue. It's the knowledge that they actually lead to places that people want to go. Like for example, the recent connection to Hornby that's just been opened in the last month. I knew vaguely that it went to Hornby, but I just sort of had to follow it and trust it to actually take me there, because it's quite a circuitous route compared to driving the car. But it did get me there, and and I only knew to maybe follow it and trust it because I've had that experience for all the other cycleways. But I guess the even bigger thing is the reason why I think the outreach is important is because it's not even just for the cyclists, it's actually for the non-cyclists as well, so that our residents know that when we're spending money on cycleways, they're actually getting their values worth, because when it's a couple of streets over on a quiet street, which, let me be clear, is an amazing idea because it just adds to the safety value of it. Yeah. Unless you're a resident of that street, because like when you're driving anywhere, you stick to the main roads, the Ave, Blenheim Road, whatever. So if that's what you do in your car, then you may perceive the only type of cycling infrastructure in Christchurch as being the painted cycleways that are down the side. And for a lot of people, that's just too scary. Yeah. It's better than nothing, but it's still quite intimidating to bike down there compared to the cycleways that might only be a street over. Yeah.
Sarah, please.
Thank you. So, as well as a social media campaign, I think picking up on Kelly's thing, if you had something on the street over on the main road, some cities have got not just on their cycleways, but painted bits, just kind of advertising where to go to get to a cycleway on the road, because the cyclists often don't look up at signs because we're focused on the road and things, but also something at the start and end of each cycleway. I don't know if you know the coastal pathway's got a "you are here" type thing, so some of those along the cycleway as well to help with that whole, am I just trusting where those signs are going? Can I see where I am on a map?
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Actually, you've just raised a really good point that I wanted to bring up and I almost forgot about it, so thanks for that. It's a good idea, but what would be even better is if, and probably more cost effective, is if the council could prioritise, and I'm not sure what systems this goes through, but prioritise getting the cycleways onto Google Maps.
Yes.
And having them fully updated, because a lot of people, when they're looking for cycling instructions, they just simply go on Google Maps. But the thing is, Google Maps doesn't know that a lot of these separated cycleways even exist.
Papanui parallel's not be there, but the Rutland connection is. It's just really weird.
Yeah. So if you could prioritise updating that would be massive.
Thank you, Logan. Thank you very much for your time.
Cool. Oh, thanks everyone.
Good to see you, man. All right. Okay, Mike, please.